So I wanted to discuss a letter which was written by Ambarisa and Brajavilas, who are leaders of the Mayapur project. And they are sharing their thoughts about recent developments where there's been a lot of backlash to the problem of child abuse in the Mayapur project. And how did that come about and how that was dealt with has become a big controversy as of lately. So they're trying to address that. They're trying to, let's say, put out the fire which is going on of a lot of complaints about Mayapur and its management system. So let's start with the letter itself from Ambarisa and Brajavilas. Dear respected North America ISKCON leaders, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We are writing to you today to provide an official TOVP statement. TOVP is a Temple of Vedic Planetary program in Mayapur, attached to clarify the true, factual, and sincere picture and understanding of the TVOP operations in Sridham Mayapur. Unfortunately, this has become required because a number of misconceptions, exaggerations, and even outright lies that have been generated and circulated through social media and other communication platforms to misinform devotees in general and sensationalize issues. Okay, first of all, this is going to be my first comment. Over the years, actually since 1978, I have been saying ISKCON is abusing children by forcing them to worship illicit sex and drugs deviants as their messiahs and gurus and acharyas, and as Krishna's successors. Worshipping illicit sex deviants has 0% any connection to Prabhupada's instructions. Prabhupada says if you worship illicit sex deviants, you're going to hell. That's all there is to it. End of story. He never authorized that process. But after 1978, ISKCON began worshiping all sorts of illicit sex deviants as gurus and as acharyas and as Krishna's successors. So when Ambarisa and Brajavilas say things are being exaggerated, what's being exaggerated? ISKCON is worshiping deviants as acharyas, and they're forcing children to worship deviants as acharyas, and this has been going on since 1978. And the result was, I complained about this and I got banned. Beaten, my friends were sued, my friends were killed for objecting to this system. So we have to worship illicit sex deviants as God's successors, and if we don't, we're banned, we're beaten, we're removed, we're exiled, and we're killed. That also was not instructed by Prabhupada. And Jayapataka is one of the leaders of Mayapur, and he's simultaneously one of the leaders of the illicit sex guru process. So the upshot is that I was banned and exiled from ISKCON, and then many ISKCON leaders and even many rank-and-file devotees began to say, I am an offender, I am making fake news, I am the yellow rag writer, the National Enquirer of ISKCON, and so on, as the Society's children were being systematically starved, beaten, molested, and maybe, or actually, raped. And then, no surprises here, there was a mass exodus and alienation of the youth who jettisoned ISKCON. And then by the mid-1990s, there was a growing suicide epidemic of various molesting victims later on. And I was always the bad guy for trying to save these children. And in many sectors of ISKCON, I still am the bad guy. And I'm still the person who's exaggerating and making stuff up and all the rest of it. And the Ambarisa letter says, first, we emphatically state that the TOVP has and always will be a staunch supporter of child protection in ISKCON. Personally, our chairman, Ambarisa Das, has given over $1 million to the ex-Gurukulis Youth Fund during the Turley case as a service to them and to help bail out ISKCON North America from a very serious situation that could have cost us a great loss of temples and properties. Okay, my question is, why are we always bailing these guys out? Why don't we get rid of these guys? You don't keep bailing out the person that keeps causing trouble over and over and over again. If you bail out the guy who gets arrested for selling drugs over and over and over again, he's just going to go back to selling drugs. You're not fixing the problem by bailing out the criminal. You're just empowering and encouraging the criminal. And Mayapur has a long track record of child abuse going on there for quite some time now, and the same leaders of that regime are still there now, like Jayapataka and Bhavananda and others. Anyone who made such a mess in a regular school would have been booted out, if not sued by the school board for neglecting their duties, if not sued for orchestrating the problems. As soon as I said Jayatirtha is de facto a pedophile for molesting his disciples, Jayapataka kicked me out. Jayapataka started out defending the pedophile infrastructure right out of the gate. No one should have given him one more dime after that, nor given Mayapur a dime after that, until he was booted out for promoting a molester as the Acharya. Then, let's get back to their letter. Presently, we are also giving funds to the Mayapur CPO, which is the Child Protection Office, to help resolve some of the current child abuse issues being dealt with in Mayapur. Okay, my comment. Dealing with the issue means getting rid of the bad administration and their entourage there. That's how you deal with the situation. You get rid of the people who created and empowered and enabled the whole child abuse infrastructure process. And no, the CPO isn't really enabled to have power. They haven't been able to legislate on the Lokanath issue the whole time, and they still aren't. They are not being empowered to deal with the crisis going on in the society. Getting back to their letter, the TVOP is always a steadfast and loyal supporter of the authority structure within ISKCON and follows all the decisions and directives of the GBC body. Okay, so when the GBC reinstates homosex in the Holy Dham, and that is their directive, why would we go along with that? What do you mean we're going along? They reinstated Jayatirtha, they reinstated Bhavananda, they monkeyed around with Hansaduta, they monkeyed around with Rameshwar, they monkeyed around with Harikesh. They have not resolved issues. And many of the times they defended the problem makers. So you're going along with their decisions. They're making bad decisions. You don't go along with that. You don't support that. You drop your funding. You stop supporting them. And you expose them for being troublemakers. In sum, the GBC body has promoted the worship of illicit sex with men, women, and children of deviants all along, since 1978. And they have orchestrated having us banned, beaten, sued, and killed for objecting. And they are still banning, threatening, and suing our folks now as we speak. Okay, getting back to their letter. In the late 1990s, the TOVP project was previously managed by a few other devotees and financed solely by Ambarisa Das. Fortunately, we found out, after sinking millions of dollars into the project, that the management was misspending money, making wrong decisions, and also ignoring Srila Prabhupada's direct instructions regarding the TOVP design, location, etc. Bhavananda has received the bulk of instructions directly from Srila Prabhupada regarding the design and concept of the TOVP. Ambarisa Das decided to ask the ICPO director if we could engage Bhavananda Das as a consultant for the project in consideration of his fulfilling ICPO directives. So, in other words, the directors from the Child Protection Office were given against Bhavananda, so they made some, other arrangement to keep him in some sort of position there. So, in consideration of his fulfilling ICPO directives, and after some tests and analysis by professional agencies to ascertain his state of mind, it was determined and approved by the ICPO that he could act in that capacity under Ambarisa's vigilant supervision. My comment, There's your first problem right there. All sorts of mayhem and child molesting and child beating and child raping and who knows what is going on in Mayapur, including just massive, horrific child abuse. Let's just state it clearly. And where is the vigilant supervision? What do you mean there's vigilant supervision? It seems to be non-existent. And why would we even allow a person who was having oral sex with taxi drivers in the Dom to be even on the property at the Dom? He should be permanently banned from being anywhere near the Dom. Instead, we are banned. We are banned because we don't promote the worship of illicit sex with men, women, and children as God's successors. Getting back to their letter, in a similar way, after a number of failed attempts to obtain the permission from the then communist government to build the TOVP, we requested permission from the ICPO to engage Satadanya Das, who had the experience, know-how, and contacts to deal with the West Bengal government in a legal consultant capacity. He succeeded under very challenging and difficult circumstances. My comment. Okay, another guy with a very bad track record of being part of the abuse infrastructure there in Mayapur is made the leader. This is a person who also should be banned. You can't have these people floating around. Your society, number one priority is the children of the society. The building is secondary. Getting back to the letter, it should be amply clarified that neither the two devotees named above have or ever will be engaged in official management or leadership capacity representing the TVOP as per ICPO restrictions. Okay, my comment. Yes, but they are given posts of some authority while we are banned, beat, sued, and killed. So, we're getting banned, beat, sued, and killed over here. Hello? What about us? Does anybody think about what happens to those of us who object to what's going on in Mayapur? Back to their letter, the bottom line is that there would likely be no TOVP standing today without the assistance of these two fallen, yet still dedicated Prabhupada disciples. Oh, okay, so you made a big building. Meanwhile, ISKCON got sued for $400 million for massive child abuse. How's that helping? You're making a big building while the rest of everything else is crumbling and falling apart. And over 90% of the ISKCON children left ISKCON, and many of them hate ISKCON. The building was supposedly made for them, but they were destroyed in the molester messiah machinery so the buildings can survive, not the people who are supposed to be in the building. Nice golden cage, but not feeding the bird inside the cage, so the bird dies. Then you have a nice empty golden cage that many people are hoping will burn down because of all the suffering that was caused in the process of making that building. Getting back to their letter, in a sense, we do believe they have made a great effort for 40 years to reform, which is irrefutably provided for within Vaishnava Shastra. Nevertheless, we are not minimizing their atrocious past behavior or the ongoing pain and scars suffered by their victims. Our point here is that what we did was historically necessary at the time, approved by the ICPO and the GBC body by their no objection position. My comment, first of all, only Krishna advises his pure devotee gurus, not some kind of a management body. Nor do we say someone's a pure devotee. Maybe we have no objection if he's a pure devotee or not a pure devotee. What is that? You can't just rubber stamp somebody as a pure devotee by a no objection process. You have to declare clearly he is a pure devotee, he is not a pure devotee. You can't say he is a pure devotee by no objection. What? That's called cheating. Anyway, only Krishna advises his pure devotee gurus, not some mundane management body. To say that the GBC is going to step over Krishna and reform and correct the guru means they think they are superior to Krishna. And it is their job to reform and correct the guru, but the guru is getting dictation direct from Krishna, not the GBC. In other words, it is total insanity to think that the GBC is going to reform, advise, and correct the person who is getting dictation from God. Where does Srila Prabhupada say that the Acharya will be reformed, corrected, advised, suspended, removed, exiled, excommunicated for deviations by the GBC? The Messiah is not subjected to any of these rules and regulations. It's all concocted. Why doesn't Ambarisa and Brajavilas and the Mayapur management know any of these things? The atrocious past behavior happened because the GBC also did not even take strong enough measures to reform their bogus acharyas. Jayapataka should have been booted out ages and ages ago for administering and orchestrating an abuse process in the Dham. Instead, Jayapataka booted me out for complaining about the abuse. They are enforcing the worship of deviants all along, and one of the worst of them is Jayapataka, the father of the pedophile Messiah's club. Getting back to their letter, as such, we beg the question, why is the TOVP being singled out now and accused of supporting, enabling, and promoting child abusers after 16 years? My comment, no, Jayapataka started out saying that the children need to worship his illicit sex with men, women, and children, sexual predators, or de facto pedophiles in 1978. This has been going on for 45 years, not 16 years. Children have been made to worship pedophiles or de facto pedophiles for 45 years. To say this is only 16 years is false, but it shouldn't have been going on for 6 minutes. Why is this going on at all? Jayapataka started out saying the children need to worship his illicit sex with men, women, and children, sexual predators program. In 1978, he should have been booted out immediately. All funding and support for him should have stopped right then and there. They're burying pedophiles now in the Dham because their plan is to have pedophile puja going on forever, not only 45 years, but just ongoing. Except they will have to die and face Yamaraj for making this disaster in the Dham, and so will anyone who supports them. Getting back to their letter, we have acted in good faith and openness with all the recognized ISKCON authorities. My comment, the current ISKCON authorities are the people who made the illicit sex of men, women, and children Guru Parampara in the first place. Having faith in them is called illusion. And that's what Jayapataka said at the beginning, when I said we can't have people worshiping a pedophile or a de facto pedophile like Jayatirtha. Then Jayapataka said, well, we have to have faith in worshiping Jayatirtha, and you are destroying the faith of people who are worshiping Jayatirtha. But why do we have to have faith in worshiping pedophiles? No one ever explains that. I told Jayapataka, Srila Prabhupada says when a guru is having sex with a follower, it is the same as a man having sex with his daughter, therefore it is pedophile sex. Why do you want people to have faith in worshiping a pedophile or de facto pedophile? Getting back to their letter, yet now, at best, the same ISKCON authorities remain silent, while some of them even lend support to misinformed and inflammatory critics rather than defending Srila Prabhupada's TOVP project. My comment, the TVO project cannot be isolated from all the other events in ISKCON, such as the mass molesting that has occurred in and around ISKCON and in Mayapur. Fixing the people's issue should have been the priority over the bricks and stones issue. We're not trying to fix a building problem, we're trying to fix a people problem. Getting back to their letter, this in a nutshell is our position and attaches the official statement which covers certain elements in question in more detail. We hope you will personally benefit from this information and share it with inquisitive devotees who may approach you so they can make their own educated decisions instead of listening to a few rabble-rousers on the internet. My comment, a few rabble-rousers? Holy smokes, we had ISKCON sued for $400 million. This was in all the newspapers all over the world, read by hundreds of millions of people. Hundreds of millions of people are not happy with the going-on situation in ISKCON, and neither are many, many devotees, especially now that all this is being uncovered, and people are starting to realize how horrendous the situation has been in ISKCON and in Mayapur in particular. Getting back to their letter, additionally, we would like to point out that despite everything, and in the spirit of cooperation, we have removed all photos of the two individuals above, along with others, from our website in consideration of the sensitiveness of the issue. Indeed, now, let us truly show our love for Srila Prabhupada by ensuring full cooperation from here on out to unite to complete the TOVP for their lordships, Sri Panchatattva, Sri Radhamadhava, and Sri Nishingadev. We beg to remain your servants, Ambarisa Das, TLVP Chairman, Raja Vilas, TLVP Vice Chairman. My comment, first of all, making a big building in Mayapur has no effect on 99.9% of the devotees. They don't care if there's a big building there or not a big building. What they want to know is there a place for me or my children in ISKCON? And for most of the devotees, there is not. The ISKCON temple in the Bay Area has almost zero Western people coming. It's just becoming like a Hindu show bottle situation. Vaisheshika has a temple which is all Hindus. It's all Hindu people coming. They're not making Western people. So you have a big building in India. What about the preaching that Prabhupada wanted done in the West? He wanted Western people to become devotees of Krishna. He didn't want to make a Hindu operation out of ISKCON. In fact, he said, if the Hindus take over ISKCON, they'll just turn it into a money-making program. We definitely want to avoid that. But that's what's going on. Every ISKCON temple in North America, just about, has become a sort of congregation hall for Hindus. And they're doing Hindu weddings and Hindu, even demigod pujas are going on, and so on and so forth. And even, many GBCs are aware of this, and they've commented on this. But, ISKCON is becoming like a Hindu operation. They kind of secretly know that this is a big problem. ISKCON is falling apart on every level. And that is why it's falling apart, because, you're emphasizing a building somewhere in India which has no relationship to 99% of the devotees living in the West. They're not going to go there. They have no interest in going there. What good is it? They've got no place for them, no place for their children. There's no farms, there's no varnashrama, the temples are Hindu. Who's going there? So it's a false situation to think that making a big temple somewhere in India is going to change the situation in ISKCON. It's not. If anything, it's just creating the impression that ISKCON is only interested in buildings and not people, which is already your problem. Your problem is you've lost the hearts and minds of the people. The people are gone. And 99.9% of them are not coming back. And unless things change, more people will just continue to drop away. And ISKCON will become a ghost town. But even in 1988, Lokanath Swami said ISKCON is becoming a ghost town. He said, where did they all go? The devotees have left. The temples are empty. So even they knew that in 1988. You're creating a mass exodus. And Jayapataka and all these people were part of the reason that mass exodus took place. They created the mass exodus. So to continue to support them at this stage is like, poking a stick in the eye of a person who you've already just previously poked in the eye with a stick. You're just not helping your situation. You're just trying to revive Jayapataka when most people see him as the cause, or one of the big causes, of all the trouble in the first place. You can't keep promoting the people, the same people who created the problems, if you want to solve the problem. It's not happening. And money is not going to solve the problem, and bricks and stones are not going to solve the problem. Apart from all that, I told Jayapataka, you cannot take karma. You cannot take karma from other people, because Srila Prabhupada told us we cannot take karma from other people, or we will get sick, fall down, or both. Well, look at him. He has taken too much karma. So why is Ambarisa and others encouraging Jayapataka to take karma? And Jayapataka told me, I'm going to take karma for 50,000 people. Oh, okay, well, that means you're definitely not following anything Prabhupada said. And then recently, Jayapataka says, I'm the last sannyasi standing. You're not standing, dude. You're a mess. You're a train wreck. You're not standing. And yeah, the other, your other guru pals fell down. That means they were not gurus in the first place. That means you made a big mistake designating them as gurus. And you had no authority to designate them as gurus. And they all fell down, and you're the last guy standing. Well, they all fell down because you made artificially these people into acharyas. And you caused all kinds of havoc and pandemonium and mayhem by doing that. And they all took karma, and they all suffered because you told them they could take karma, which means you're not following Prabhupada's instructions. So, having a building is fine, but unless people follow Prabhupada's actual instructions, the building will not have much value or use or even interest in most of the devotees. Most devotees that I know have no interest in having a big building in Mayapur. They just don't care. They don't need it. They're not going to use it. They're not going to go there. They're afraid of going there. They think Jayapataka's have got a bunch of gundas there. Even a GBC who was friendly to me told me in 1986, I cannot go to Mayapur and say anything because Bhavananda's disciples will beat the crap out of me with bamboo sticks. I can't go there and say anything, so you better not go there and say anything because, I'm a leader and they'll attack me, never mind they'll attack anybody else. So it's seen as just a violent, vicious Gunda operation even by your own people, some of your own GBC people. They don't want to go there because they think it's just a Gunda situation. So it's out of control. That's all there is to it. And in 1997, when I was having Jayapataka sued for $400 million, he was in Los Angeles. He was giving a lecture at the temple. He came out of the temple. He saw me sitting across the street, and he just ran at me like a, yelling like a roaring elephant. That's all. He couldn't even talk. He was so infuriated just seeing me. So he just ran right up to me. And then when he ran up to me, he was all out of breath because he's just a big, huge guy, all out of shape. But, he didn't attack me, but I thought he was going to attack me. So what is this? You got some violent Gunda guy claiming to be as good as God, and he's infuriated when he finds out that we're exposing his child molesting process. So he's not even a human being. A human being would come up to me and say, gee, Pranjan, we're really sorry that all these kids got molested. We're really sorry that we did not listen to you when we were told by you that this is a problem. And you told us this over and over and over and over repeatedly, and we ignored you. And as a result, our children suffered. And now we got some really bad karma coming down the pipeline here in the shape of this lawsuit and in the shape of all these children who are alienated and fried, and they're gone and they're never coming back to ISKCON. He should have apologized to me instead of running at me, yelling and screaming. That means he has no remorse. He doesn't even understand how much harm and trouble he's causing to other people, especially children. So all of you guys can't keep considering the children and me and the court and the media and everybody else to be the rabble-rousers. We're not a few rabble-rousers. And it's just getting worse for you guys because now I'm going to be going on television again on a very big show, nationwide show, and I'm going to be exposing you guys because that's all I can do now. I have to expose you guys because, in my opinion, you are a dangerous cult. And even the FBI people, the police, everybody tells me, watch your back. These guys will get you if they can take you down. If they think they can take you down, they will. They're a dangerous, violent, child molesting cult. That is the impression of Not just a few rabble-rousers, but many, many, many people. So it's up to you to change that perception. And just funneling more money to Jayapataka isn't going to change any of that. It's just going to make things worse. It makes it look like you're digging in, digging in your heels and just trying to continue with the same crap that's been going on since 1978. It has to end. And it will end, one way or other. And I'm doing what I can to help make it end. Okay, I hope this helps. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.